Okay, so for those of you guys who are coming on for the first time, you guys know that convention just ended and a lot of people are excited, but people want to know like what's the next step. And I think it's not hard to figure it out because you kind of have to look at USANA as a company and see what they're doing. Right now we know that USANA has been growing. Obviously they have over 10 years of consecutive growth. We know USANA is a solid company and everything, but at the same time, what is USANA looking for here in the United States, North America, and even worldwide? They just launched an incentive for a fast start bonus. And I think that kind of tells you where their focus is, right? What they're trying to do. They want to get more associates involved. So this was probably the best way to start right after convention and really get people focused on enrolling new people. So getting people started in the next 30 days, right? So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Michael Callejas. I've been doing this business for about 8 years. I've been fortunate to work with some solid mentors in this business. And, I've had some pretty good success up to this point. But, it's not done yet. We're just getting going with this. We had a pretty solid convention, but we're always looking to grow from this point on. So let's go and click on the next one, Scott. So for those of you guys who are at the convention, right, we talked about Ignited. And I think for a lot of the theme was Ignited, and a lot of people look at USANA and say, well, aren't they already in that momentum phase? And I think that USANA hasn't really hit that critical mass point yet. So I think they're looking to get to that next level, right? I think if we keep going at this pace, slow and steady, we're obviously going to have, eventually become $1 billion company. But what can we do to get there sooner, and also to position ourselves as distributors to capture some of that piece, right? Some of that market. Click on next. So first thing is first, all right? For all of you guys who are looking at this from a leadership perspective, obviously it's not just about signing people up. It's about having some type of direction or some strategy when you're building this business. So there's 3 things that you want to focus on when you're building a USANA business, all right? And the 3 things are posted on the screen right now. So if you look at our core values with Global Source Alliance, we always talk about this, right? Number 1 is promotions. So I think for those of you guys who are looking to get to 20 people in 30 days, look at your team members who are on board already, right? Some of you guys have people who are obviously, they've been in the business for a couple of months, maybe even a couple of years, and they haven't really taken it serious, and now all of a sudden they're coming around. So don't just look at your prospects or obviously your or the people that you want to enroll, but look at your team members and see who's up for a promotion. Like who in the downline has been there maybe at the builder level or believer level, and maybe now they want to go director, gold, silver, all that kind of stuff. So don't just look at your own promotion, but also look at the promotion of your team. There's going to be some people who are going to want to step up. So when you want to go out there and sponsor 20 people or bring in 20 people in 30 days, it's going to be challenging unless you have a big list to work with. So you don't want to just look at your list. You want to look at the list of the people in your group too. For me, I'm looking at my new associates that are coming in. They're building their contact lists. I'm looking at associates who have been maybe inactive for a while, who went to convention and got excited. We're looking at their contact list right now. So it's not just about, like I said, working with your own, but look at everybody's list. And that's how you're going to go out there and build a brand new group within the next 30 days. Number 2 is events. What are the weekly events that you guys have? Some of you guys that aren't plugging in to weekly events, that's going to be a big mistake. I think to myself, you can build this business one-on-one and you can sign a lot of people up, but I don't think anybody gets inspired at a one-on-one. I think people usually get inspired when they come to a big event. They'll come to a convention or they'll come to a Super Saturday or they'll do something like that, and that's what kind of triggers them, right? And they take it more serious. So make sure you guys have weekly events set up, because one of the challenges that comes up also is whenever you have new people coming on board, what happens is it's hard to, in a sense, for lack of a better word, to manage or to handle everybody that comes in. So unless you guys have weekly events, you're not going to be able to handle all that growth that you're going to experience. So people will say, well, we'll bring in 20 people and then we lost 20 people as quickly as we brought them in, and that's not what you're looking for. I think if you have events set up where every week you have a health and freedom, right, where you're presenting to new people, and every week you have a training where you're training all the new people that come in, I think if you guys have something like that, you're not going to lose the people. You're going to have them obviously signing people up and also getting trained. And third is growth, CVP, making sure that people in your team are getting paid. So right now with the new bonus that's out, I think it's easy to get people paid because all you have to do to get paid is sponsor an associate, right? If you bring in one person, you're going to get $25 out of one business center. If you bring in somebody for a 3 business center, you're going to get $50. So let's go and click on next. So for those of you guys that are at my training stage, I talked about, I talked about this rocket ship, right, the Endeavor, and I was letting people know like how blown away I was by this thing when I really started doing research on it. you know, how heavy it was. It was about 1.6 million pounds, and how much fuel it uses. So I think for a lot of people who saw the training, they kind of got the gist. And I'm not going to spend too much time because some of you guys probably already saw my training stage. But I really think that for you guys to get this thing going, you can't just sign up one person every week and expect to get this thing going. You know, it's going to take more than that. That's why we're trying to make a massive push. It's like a concentrated effort in getting this thing off the ground. I know people who say, man, I've been working at this business for 6 months and I haven't gotten anywhere, you know? Or people who say I've been doing this business for a year and I'm still in the same place I was in, you know, back when I first got started. And when I hear people say that, I'm like, well, think of it this way. It's like seriously trying to have a shuttle take off where you're burning maybe 1 gallon of gas, you know, per day. Like you're not going to be able to get the rocket off the ground if you're doing that. What you want to do is you want to push pedal to the metal, right? Go full throttle with your rocket. And even then, you'll notice that you'll burn most of your rocket fuel and you still won't be off the ground. Like when I was researching the Endeavor, it says that it burns about 160,000 gallons of gas and it still doesn't even lift off. It's still on the ground. But at that point, they don't turn off the engines, right? They just keep pressing it. And as you keep pressing, you're eventually going to experience some liftoff. So for those people who are on the line and thinking, okay, how long does it take in order for me to get to the point where, you know, I'm a gold director or whatever the case may be? For those of you guys who know my story, I was able to hit gold director in my first 7 weeks in USANA. And that was with no experience, right? Just coming in as a new associate. And I just went out there and I sponsored a lot of people. So I know that it's possible, but I didn't have a lot of guidance. All I did was just push pedal to the metal. I brought everybody in. I wasn't signing up one person at a time. I just went after every single person, and that's how I got my business off the ground in the very beginning. So that's what we're looking to do with you guys right now. Some of you guys are like, okay, so how do I do that, right? How do I go all out? Well, it's not something that we can give you guys in, you know, 20 minutes or 30 minutes that we're doing on this call. So what we're really trying to do is let you guys know what we're going to do and really looking for the people who want to take this thing serious, right? There's a lot of people who are on the call who are saying, well, I want to be serious, man. Then we really need to mentor you as an individual. There's no way that you're going to be able to get everything on one call and go out there and make it happen. We can give you guys the basic stuff, right? Like obviously setting your goals. You know, everybody knows that already. Or making a contact list. I think everybody knows that already. Okay, or making the phone calls, inviting people, scheduling an appointment. I think everybody knows that, right? So it's not just about that. It's about getting the mentorship, right? It's about getting that personal coaching so that you can be accountable, because every week you have to set up goals. And I think it's kind of like, you know, being in the gym, right? If you have a personal trainer, you're more likely to hit your goals than if you don't, because you have somebody who's keeping you accountable. It's kind of like people know, right? Like, should you be doing push-ups every day? Like, obviously, everybody knows that you should be doing that, right? Or should you be doing pull-ups? Should you be doing some cardio? It's like everybody knows that. So what makes it different when you have a personal trainer? The difference is that now you have somebody keeping you accountable for that. So it's like, for example, if you want to recruit 20 people in 30 days, that's great. But how many people are you going to have to bring in per day, right? You're really looking at bringing in about a person every day or so. So if you're doing that, how many people do you have to present to every day? You know, you're going to have to present to about 4 to 5 people almost every single day. See, so now you're thinking, okay, my gosh, how do I do this? Well, that means you have to be presenting to roughly about, 20 people a week, right? If you're doing about four a day and you're just doing Monday through Friday, I mean, think about it. That's about 20 people a week. So how many calls are you going to have to do? How many appointments are you going to have to set? See, everybody knows that, but now do you have somebody keeping you accountable? Like, do you have somebody calling you in the morning and say, okay, who are we talking to today? You know, who's the appointment for today? All right, who are we following up on today? Make sense? Who are you calling? You know, let me see your list. Like, when you have somebody who's keeping you accountable like that, trust me, you're going to do it because somebody's on top of you 24/7. And I think that that's what it's going to take in order for you to push yourself. Some people say, I don't need that. I'll push myself. Great. If you don't need that type of coaching or you need that type of mentoring, then that's awesome. You know, like for myself, right, when I came on board, I did it. I just got started and I didn't need anybody to tell me to make the calls. I just did the calls and I signed the people up and I went for it. So everybody's different, but if you're the type of person that needs somebody to keep you accountable, to push you, to challenge you day in and day out, then I highly recommend that you let us know, because we need to know who you are so we can mentor, right? Let's click on next. So people think to themselves, man, am I going to have to present to 20 people every week for the rest of my life? That sounds crazy. Well, no, because just like the rocket ship, right, like the Endeavor, once you kind of get it off the ground, the momentum starts to carry. And then once you break the atmosphere, you're no longer using fuel. Like, you're pretty much running in zero gravity, right? You're using the atmosphere, the gravitational pull, using very little fuel to get this thing to go. So I believe that if you want to make something happen in USANA, you should push yourself very hard for the first 90 days. From that point on, maybe evaluate, train, really mentor, duplicate your leaders, and then from there do another 90-day push. Do a couple of those big pushes, and then you're going to have your business off the ground. So don't think that it's something that you have to do forever, right? And you're going to burn yourself out like that. If you're doing it right, you'll be developing leaders in the process. Let's go to click on next. Okay, so the fast start bonus, right? Some of you guys looked at this at convention, and I think people got it, but I want you guys to kind of think about how you're going to use this thing. Okay, so what a fast start bonus does is this. Remember that people can't see past 1 week, or they can't see past 15 days, let alone 30 days, right? Like people can't see that far because we're all used to getting paid every week, or most of us are used to getting paid every 2 weeks, and very few of us get paid every 30 days, right, at our job. So like I like working with entrepreneurs, let's say personal trainers, business owners, people like that, because they know that they get paid based on what they put in. So they already understand that concept, right? But for people who are new or coming from a corporate background, they don't understand that concept. To them, if they don't get a paycheck in USANA within a week, they quit. Or if they don't get a paycheck within USANA within the first month, for sure they're going to fall out. So what the fast start bonus does is it gives you guys the opportunity to create that belief, because as soon as somebody brings someone on board, they're going to get a paycheck sent to them. So let's say even if the paycheck is a $50 check, and it's not a big deal, right? But still, it's something. They see the result. They know that they're going to get paid, especially if they have a full-time job and they're building USANA part-time. Believe it or not, it's going to be a good thing. So anywho, let me give you guys an example. Let's click on next. So as you guys can see, just a quick recap. This goes up until Halloween, or the day after Halloween. I'm not sure what that's called anymore, but so it goes from August 30th to October 31st. And if you guys see this, for every new associate that you sign up, 200 sales volume points, you're going to get a $25 check. And as soon as they do their auto order, you're going to get another $25. So all in all, you're going to get 50 bucks. If somebody signs up with the 3BC, you're going to get $50. And when they do their auto order, you're going to get another $50. So all in all, you're going to get 100 bucks. So think of it this way. If you were to sign up 4 people, right? Let's just say 4 people in the very beginning. If you get 4 people in for a 3 business center, straight off the bat, you're going to get a $200 bonus. On top of that, if you're running all 4 legs, how much income are you going to make? You're going to make about $320. So 320 plus 200, you get $520. As soon as they do their auto order, you're going to get another $200. So you guys will see quickly how you can start building the belief of your team. And that's what we want, right? We want people to really look at this and think, okay, I can actually make enough money here where I could replace my job income. Because the more committed people you have, the faster your business is going to grow. I think in USANA is great, right? But I think there's just way too many part-timers. There are too many people who are looking at this as, yeah, it's a good business. It's a long-term business. In 5 years, I'll be able to quit my job. You know, people look at it like that. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if you just had 4 people joining this week and they brought 4 people the following week, you'd be making some very serious income. You would be able to quit your job within a couple of weeks. So it has nothing to do with this being a long-term project. I think that people just don't look at it like it's like the potential is there to make quick money. With the fast start bonus, I think it's there, and I think we can get things off the ground. So let's go and click on next. So back to a little bit of the mentorship, right? See, I think when you're looking at sponsoring 20 people in 30 days, here are the biggest obstacles. Number one is your prospecting skills and your inviting skills, right? Let's say you look at your list and you have 10 names. How are you going to bring in 20 people? It's going to be really challenging. So your prospecting skills have to grow. You need to learn how to go out there and make new contacts. And there's so many ways to make new contacts. It's not just talking to your friends and family. There's a lot of different ways to get referrals, run ads, just different ways on going out there and increasing your prospecting list. Number 2 is inviting. I think a lot of people look at inviting, and this is where you really need to practice. But when it comes to inviting, I believe people do it, a lot of people do it wrong, you know, where they'll call up their friend and say, hey, do you want to come to a meeting to check something out? And if you do it like that, out of 10 phone calls, you might get 1 person to come down. But if you work on your inviting and you learn the skills, out of 10 phone calls, you might be able to set up maybe 5, 6, 7 appointments. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're sharpening your sword when it comes to inviting, because a lot of people just call and you know, really make a lot of mistakes on the invite. So if you're looking for personal development, here are some things that can help you out. You know, we give you guys some suggestions there to give you guys personal development, but it's up to you guys to follow, right? Like Go Pro, they give you some good scripts on inviting. But it's not just reading the scripts, it's practicing them too. So that's where the mentorship comes in. where we can coach you and we can role play and really build up your skills. Next is Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn. This is a tool that I think you guys really have to pick up and add it daily into your daily personal development regimen. Okay. Next is the life cycle. Fast start training. For everybody who's going to be working with us, we're going to do a fast start training, and you need to learn that because when you sign somebody up, you're going to have to do a fast start training for your new person. So it's not just about you learning it, but teaching it to your next person as well. Next is events, grand openings, one-on-one appointments. For those of you guys who are local or even not local, if you're a part of the mentorship program, then obviously we're going to have to help you with your one-on-ones, right? We're going to have to help you with some of these presentations, okay? Or get somebody qualified to help you with these presentations, or even teach you how to do these presentations. But the point is we want to make sure that you're good, right? So that your averages are going up. Next is builder and achiever, right? These levels right here, practicing. If you guys look follow-up and opening, this is where we're really going to coach you guys up a lot. We're going to role play with this. We're going to get you guys to be good closers. And basically being a good closer is just overcoming all of the objections. That's what you really want to learn how to do. The most common ones are I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I got to think about it. You know, those types of things. You guys have to be really good and natural to overcome those objections if you're going to want to close people in this business. You know, learn how to create urgency too. There's so many people that come on board and they say, yeah, give me a couple of weeks, give me a month, you know, that sort of thing. And when people say that, I'm like, man, what did you say to them, you know? You can't just let somebody say, give me a month. You got to create that urgency to get them to make the decision today. Believe it or not, the people who say, give me a month, what they're really saying is that they're scared and they're not willing to move forward on this, okay? And they're just giving you the whole, I got to think about it, give me time. It's not going to work out. We really need to learn how to create the urgency and get people to move into an action step, whether it's filling out an application, right, or giving a deposit, or placing a small order, or being a PC, something. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that this is a big part. For me, I always tell people this. If you know how to invite and you know how to close, you'll never go hungry in this business. You'll always make money because those are the two skills, the most essential skills, inviting people and closing people, right? Inviting them and moving them to an action step. From there, this stuff in the mentoring program, we can help you guys, but first, before every single person that comes on board into the mentoring program, we do a business evaluation. So we're not going to go into these steps unless you're a solid director or a solid bronze or a solid silver or gold. If you're not solid at these levels, we're going to be coaching you guys on this. Even if you have a silver pin, but you're making this type of money, we're not going to talk about this part. And the reason why is because we feel that everybody needs to go through these steps if they're ever going to get into teaching and duplicating. So you just have to have that chain of command, right? You have to have that system to follow. Let's click on next. Okay, so the marketing funnel, right? You guys want to know how to get enrollments? Here's how it works. The more prospects you have, the more invites you have, the more presenting is going to happen, the more following up that's going to happen, the more enrollments that are going to happen. So if you guys look at this, it's pretty much simple, right? It starts as a big funnel at the top and it narrows its way down. So 10 prospects equals maybe 5 invites equals maybe 2 or 3 presentations. 2 or 3 meetings will equal about 1 or 2 follow-ups, and that'll equal about 1 close. So that's what you want to do. You want to focus on getting your prospecting up. But there's a lot of people who are in USANA, once again, who they're not talking to people outside of their sphere of influence, right? They're not talking to people that they just meet, like at the gym or at Starbucks or, you know, at a restaurant or at the mall or whatever the case may be. Like, you have to be willing to speak to every single person if you're going to do this, for sure. Like, you can't have somebody kind of get by, right? Like, you have to talk to every single person. So I want to make sure you guys understand that. And once again, if you're working with us, we're going to keep you accountable. There's no way that you're going to be working with us and we're going to go through one whole day and say, who did you talk to today? And you're going to say, I didn't speak to anyone. That's not going to happen because we want to make sure that you guys are talking to people on a daily basis. Okay, so remember, accountability is big. Weekly accountability as much as daily accountability. We need to do that. And we're going to watch your numbers grow, right? Some people say, I'm serious about USANA, Mike. I'm serious about USANA. And then I talk to them like, who'd you talk to today? They're like, nobody. I'm like, come on, man. You can't just be a USANA, groupie. Like, you want to make sure that you're all about this, that you talk to people on a daily basis and you're setting up these appointments. Okay, so this is where accountability comes in, man. This is going to be tough. Some of you guys are going to feel, the pressure here, but without pressure, you're never going to move to action. So we got to keep you accountable on a daily basis. It's going to be uncomfortable. Some of you guys are going to hate us. Some of you guys are going to maybe cry a little bit or whatever the case may be. But believe me, at the end, you're going to love us because you're going to get the results you're looking for. All right, let's click on next. All right, so this is the leadership funnel. So what's cool about this is that as we're working with you guys, keep in mind that we're not going to just get people signed up, right? Because a lot of you guys are thinking, okay, we're going to bring these 20 people in. Hallelujah, right? We got it done. And I'm saying, no, that's not the point. The point is to bring them in and then take them through the leadership funnel, which is getting them to learn, practice, teach, and duplicate. We don't want you just to sign up 20 people and then, once again, as quickly as they came in, they fell out. That's not what we're about here. We want to make sure that we're getting people into the duplicating stage and into becoming independent leaders. Think of it this way. We have people that signed up in our program last time who were maybe at a silver director and have gone to gold and beyond. How does that happen? Because with the people that they were signing up, they were going through this process. And ultimately, if you have 2 independent leaders in your group, one on the right, one on the left, you should be a solid gold. If you have 4 independent leaders in your group, one on each leg, you should be a solid emerald. So the goal is to build these independent leaders. That's what you're really after. All right. So it's not just about bringing the 20 in, but it's about getting them to the leadership phase, right? But if you don't have 20 associates to work with, how can we build leaders? Like, we need people to work with, right? We need people in front of us to develop. So that's why we're launching the Bring 20 in 30 days. That's the focus. Once you have a core 20 group, we're going to be able to start developing some of those leaders in your group. So this is something that we look at for the next 90 days, right? A 90-day business action plan. Some of you guys have this already, and that's cool, but you want to make sure that you're using this. So as you're bringing people in, what we're going to do is we're going to look at you and we're going to say, okay, cool, you signed them up. Congratulations. But the next step, did you give them a welcome message? Did they go through fast start training? Did you do a grand opening for them? Did you get them to do e-apprentice? Did you get them? You guys can see the list here. It's all about getting all of this stuff done with them. So for us, we're not just going to sign them up. We're going to take them through the system and get them to start growing on their own. That's what you guys want. You want people growing their business on their own. This business is very discouraging when you have to drag people, man. I kid you not. Where you're like calling them and dragging them and you just feel like they don't want it. That's an unfortunate thing. But see, a lot of people, or when you feel lost, when you feel like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm in USANA, but I signed somebody up. I don't know what to do next, Mike. I'm stuck. Whenever people say that, I'm like, don't feel stuck. Just look at the tracker. Have you done all this stuff with your new person? And if you haven't, well, then those are the next things that you need to do. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? Go back to the personal training example, right? Somebody says, man, I feel like I'm stuck. I don't know how to lose weight. What do you do, right? So there's certain things that you can look at. You can say, all right, let's see how much cardio you're doing daily. How much are you lifting, et cetera, et cetera. It's like it's a simple process. Just like USANA, it's a simple process. I think people overcomplicate it. But luckily for you guys, we have these simple tools to help you guys build. So as you guys start to look at this, you guys can say, okay, I can see how this works, right? Filling this up, getting 20 people involved, and taking them through all of these steps. If you do that, you should be a gold director in this business. Let's click on next. All right. So it says here, the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay. And when you're following up, this is a tip that I'll give you guys, but obviously we're going to give you guys more once we start working together. But if you guys look at the fortune being in the follow-up, how do you guys follow up? Well, right now with the Fast Start bonus, there's an easy way to follow up, right? If you guys want to follow up on people, what can you do? You can tell them, hey, look, if you get started right now, I'll give you $50 off just for getting started, because you know that $50 is coming back. So that's something that you can do to create urgency. Another way to follow up is this. For me, this is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I'll be able to enroll quite a few people within the next 30 days or so. And the reason why is because what I'm going to do is this. Right now I'm signing people up, right? I'm prospecting, I'm inviting, I'm setting up those appointments, and I'm finally closing. So today I closed the person earlier. Now, I had presented to some people about 2-3 weeks ago, and they told me they have to think about it and all this kind of stuff, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call those people that said they have to think about it, and I'm going to tell them, look, if you sign up right now, I'm going to put one person under you. I'm going to have somebody who's already ready to go, who's paid, and I'm going to sign that person up underneath you on your left side. So all you got to do is bring in one more person and balance it on your other side to get paid. So when I explain that to them, it's going to create urgency. It's going to make them want to move to action. So can you imagine if I signed up another person? Okay, so now I have my original one plus one that jumped in because they want to get somebody underneath them. What if I call somebody else and say, look, I got 2 people. All you have to do is jump in and I'll put 2 people under you on your left side. See, if I keep follow-ups, I should have 5, 6, 7 enrollments. And that's usually how I get it done. So to enroll 20 people, it's all about creating urgency, and people that you've spoken to in the past. It's just getting that urgency done. Okay? So fortune being in the follow-up, we'll show you guys how to follow up and create urgency. One of my favorite quotes is, without urgency, opportunity loses value. So remember, we need to create urgency or else our opportunity is worth nothing. Okay, next one is this, right? Dream big, set goals, and take action. I talk to some people and they say, yeah, my goal is I want to hit builder. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. But you want to make sure you're setting big goals. And for me, I think that it's important to set a big goal for yourself. Number one goal, if you're brand new, I would suggest the number one goal is to be silver director. You should shoot for silver director. And I'm talking about by the end of the year. Worst case scenario, by convention of next year. So dreaming big, right? Silver director. Honestly, I would say even going for gold. Why not? So setting your goals, for example, like going gold director by convention. That's a heck of a goal, man. I think a lot of people need to set big goals. You know, people say, Mike, I'm not doing well in this business. And I'm like, well, what are your goals? You know, and they don't have any. They don't have anything lined up. Like they're not really shooting for something big. I even talked to some silver directors today, like do convention recap. And I asked them like, okay, so what's your goal for next convention? And they said this, I want my team to grow. And I was like, okay, who? Like who in your team? And they were like, see, that doesn't work. It's like if you want your business to grow, then you need to know that you have to have people selected within your organization to grow. I need to start setting up those promotions for the people in your organization. Like for me, if you ask me, Mike, how are you going to grow for next year's convention? It's as simple as this. There's 5 people in my mind that I need to help go silver, gold, and ruby. That's it. I'm focusing on these 5 people. Okay, that's all I got to do. If I can get that done, my business will grow. All right, but I'm not limiting myself to just those 5 people, right? That's if I want my business to grow. But if I want the business to grow overall, then what do I need to do? I need to focus on everybody. Okay, so I'm going to focus on everybody who wants it. But I'm letting you know, for me and my business, I have my own agenda. Okay, I have my own agenda on who I need to grow in order for me to be a Growth 100 member again and to be an Elite Bonus member again. I need to know what I have to work on. So for people who tell me like, yeah, I want to grow my business, and I'm like, okay, well, who are you focusing on? That doesn't work. It has to be something very big. A big goal, and then, a big dream, and then setting those goals and then taking action. So when somebody says, yeah, man, I got to grow my business, I'm like, okay, who are your people? They say, I got to get Joe and Bob and these people to grow, right? I'm like, okay, what are the action steps for this week? What are they doing this week? Have they completed the apprentice? Have they done their grand opening? You see, it's like I'm going to be pushing you like that. And if you're giving me a bunch of excuses like, oh, well, they haven't done any of this yet. It's like, why not? See, we have to accept responsibility at that point, right? Okay, click next. Okay, so this is a 90-day game plan challenge. And we're going to start this 90-day process. We're still looking at it because obviously at convention, we were going to launch this before. But when we look at what we want to accomplish for our 90 days, we'll be announcing dates and everything soon. Okay, as far as when we're officially going to launch this 90-day process. Okay, but most likely it's going to be probably on October 1st. But looking at this right now, completing the 90-day fast tracker. We did this last time and nobody accomplished it. People got close, but nobody accomplished it. We want somebody to complete the 90-day tracker, the one with the checklist with the 20 names. If you can complete that, I'm willing to pay somebody $5,000 to do that. If they can personally sponsor 20 associates and get them to check everything off the list, I'll give them $5,000 cash out of my own pocket. So I like to put that out there for somebody who says like, yeah, man, I want to make money. I need to do this. I'm like, okay, let's see it, right? You got 90 days to get all of this done. Get it done. And then now we want to see there's no excuses at this point, right? So must complete weekly qualifications, and we'll explain to you guys what that is in a second. Next. So here are the expectations. Builder and above if you want to work with us. You got to make a minimum of $25 or $100 a week, every single week. You got to attend all the weekly events. You got to complete weekly activities and accountability. And we're going to have a 3-strike rule because there's got to be risk and reward, right? I mean, you can't just say like, yeah, I'm going to do this and you don't come through, and I'm going to do this and you don't come through. It's like then you're kind of just fooling yourself. So we want to make sure that everybody keeps accountable and they know that if you don't get something done, that there's consequences for all this. All right, so you must sponsor and enroll 4 new associates, have the core team to the launch event, which was International Convention. So this is a little bit out of date because we've already gone through this. So some of you guys have already fulfilled this qualification, which is great. For people who are just coming, in, we're going to have you guys go through this before we officially launch the 90-day challenge. Okay, next. All right, this is for cross-line members. So if you're a part of my group and you're on the call right now, just ignore this. But for people who are cross-line members who are plugging into our phone calls and they want to get on board with this, this is the way you do it. Okay. Now, a lot of people look at this and say, man, why do you guys charge for this if you're not in your group? Keep in mind that we've been working with a lot of cross-line members for a long time, and it's very time-consuming. And here's what we're going to do. All we're trying to do is kind of filter out who really wants this, first of all. And we're opening it up to cross-line members so we can treat them as if they're a part of the organization. It's not so much as just for me, but remember Scott Giannacucci, who's putting the PowerPoints together, who's doing all the material, like he takes time out of his day too to make sure all of this is done. spending over $100 a month just for go-to training, go-to meeting. Like there's just so many little things that go into it. So I want to make sure that this is something that's sustainable, that we can do long term. The last time we did this, we had really good results. Okay, there were a lot of people who rank advanced, people who said it was a great experience, and they gave us their testimonial. So we want to show you guys some of these testimonials so that you guys can get an idea as far as what happens for people who participate in these as cross-lines in these challenges.
Hi, how you going? My name is Rowan. I'm actually from Melbourne in Australia. So my USANA journey started pretty much like anyone else's. It was new to me, didn't really know what was going. And the reason I joined was purely just to have fun and make some new friends. And I did. I made a lot of great new friends, had a lot of fun at the start, and I even made Platinum Pace Setter within my first 2 months. From there, my business kind of plateaued out. I was still developing leaders, still helping people, but for myself, I wasn't growing. I was still the same person I was when I first started the business, and I didn't really seem to be getting any progress, not like the progress like I was seeing through other great leaders. So for me, I really had to find a role model, someone I could look up to, or some people that helped drive me forward to where I want to be. And that's where I met Michael Case and the GSA team, and they allowed me an opportunity to get into their mentorship program and actually help me strive for those better leadership levels of where I could take my business. Now, it's just simple, just going online, meeting up with them, or whatever you need to do, but they'll be there with you every step of the way to make sure that you're accountable for your actions and you can hit the goals that you want. So during the 90-day challenge that we did, I managed to create a gold director with my team, and including myself and 5 others, we got to the rank of silver director. So it was amazing to be able to walk the stage this year with so many of my teammates, and we managed to bring 60 people from our team over to international convention in Salt Lake City so that we could continue to build our business. And now I know that my potential is higher, and just like you, your potential is higher as well. You just need to find the right person, the right mentor, and maybe GSA is the ones you're looking for. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Liza. Just to kind of recap a little bit on my story, I've been involved in USANA for about 3 years, but I wasn't really involved in USANA in the beginning. I heard a quote that every great leader needs a mentor, and I was too good for a mentor for a while. I'll be honest with you, it was hard to admit. But then I found a great mentor who introduced me to more great mentors, and we have a huge leadership group with GSA and you know, everything that Scott and Mike are putting on, and it's completely changed my business, and I'm excited to see where I'm going to go with it. If you've ever thought about having a mentor, thought about having any kind of leadership group, I highly encourage you to come on board with us, because the person that you're going to be at the end of the 90 days, or the person you're going to be at the end of the leadership training, is not the person that you are when you enter into it. Absolutely. So I can't thank the leadership group enough, and I can't wait to continue to grow and then create more leaders as well. So thanks GSA and the leadership group.
Hello everyone, I'm Philip Weir from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I just wanted to thank GSA for allowing us to be part of the 90-day challenge they done in the beginning of this year, starting in February. Me and my wife, Andrea, we was in a little bit of a rut, not knowing where to go or what to look for, or how to actually take our business to the next level. And what we found was with GSA and their 90-day challenge, it really gave us guidance and direction and leadership on how to do those things. And with the result of that, shortly after participating with the 90-day challenge, we was able to go gold directors, guys. And the awesome thing about this is that we're not even part of their team. They let us participate, and we're a full cross line. So you guys are totally awesome. If you're really looking for something that's going to kickstart your business and take you to the next level to get you where you want to go and your team, this is where you need to be. Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me.
I'm Ryan, and this is Andrea, Les Province. We joined the GSA Leadership, the first one, and we learned tons about how to organize our business right from the start and go forward with that. So it took a lot of voices that we had from many different areas and consolidated that and gave us a real focus on where our business was and where we wanted to take it.
And so the biggest reason why we decided to join is we really wanted to take our business to the next level. We had been doing this very part-time and really not treating it like the business that it is and that it should be treated like. And for me, and I think for Ryan, the biggest thing we got out of this was our personal development and us sort of getting over our own fears and developing our own skills to be able to go out and grow our business and to be able to replicate our business. Some of the short-term things that we've seen out of this is in that quarter alone, we doubled what we had made in the previous 2 quarters in terms of CVP. We also surpassed by 2 times our PCs from the previous year and doubled our enrollment in business sponsors.
Now, the wisdom that Michael and the team provide is invaluable and really helps us shape where we are, and like I said earlier, where we want to go.
And I guess the biggest advice I could say to somebody if you're thinking about doing this is be ready to be challenged. If you're ready to be challenged, then you'll really see success in this program. I could not be happier for taking this program, and there's so many lessons that I am still absorbing from this, and our business is really just starting to see the true impact of taking this program.
Okay, perfect. So for those of you guys who are looking at testimonials, the reason we want to show that is because, you know, it's really not about just getting people to get mentored and get pumped up. Like, we're really focused on getting people results. You know, we don't want to have people just come on board and, you know, kind of go through some coaching and say, hey, that was cool. Like, no, we want to give you guys results. We want people to move up. So by the end of this, the only way you won't move up is if you're just not reaching out. Like, if you signed up for our program and then you just didn't answer your phone. Like, if you do that, that's probably the only way you can go wrong. But other than that, we've had some pretty good experience, and those are some crossline members, not to mention people in our own organization, people that took it serious, that attended all the events, right? Signed up for all the trainings, completed all the tasks. We had Abby Gomez, one of our very own goal directors, who literally, if you guys look at her business last year, it wasn't where it's at this year. She went from having like nothing in her business, literally like 14 months ago, to turning into a gold, having 2 gold directors in her organization now, one on the right, one on the left, hitting Growth 100, qualifying for the cruise, and now she's focusing on Ruby Director and becoming a Growth 25 member this year. I mean, that's amazing. You know, how do you do so much like that, right? Not including creating over 10 silver directors in an organization. So to me, it's mind-blowing, man. For people who really want to take this serious, I highly recommend you guys be a part of this, and we'll work with you. So other than that, this is what we want to do. I want to open it up at the very end. You know, you guys know how to get a hold of us now. Contact us. Email us at globalsourcealliance@gmail.com. Let us know if you want to be a part of this mentorship program. But like I said, it's not just give me the quick tip on how to bring in 20 people. It doesn't work like that. You know, you need somebody who's going to keep you accountable day in and day out, and who's going to be able to adjust with you along the way. Because we don't know what skills you know already. Maybe you already have some prospecting skills down. Maybe you just need some fine tuning, right? But we have to get to know you. We can't just coach you guys in general. If there was a magic bullet, like a one shoe fits all for everybody, then that training would be worth millions of dollars. But there's nothing like that, because you have to be coached individually, because everybody's different. So that's what I want to get to know you guys a little bit, get your business assessment going, and then start working with you on getting those 20 people in the next 30 days. All right. Thank you guys for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed the call, and we hope really much to hear from you guys at some point in the future. Take care and have a great day.